What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with the Infinity and Beyond podcast number episode 80. Get my teeth back in this morning. Welcome, everyone. We got Abe there in, I think, is it a rainy, dull, dreary California this morning?
Nope, it's just nighttime.
That's right.
Moonlit.
We've got yeah, I've got storm imaging outside that's blowing a gale. It's horrible out there. It's horrendous. So yeah, I'd much rather be in California this morning. So to this week's show, we're going to be discussing the InfiniFan Awards, and we're also going to be going through kind of a little bit of information of like maybe why we've been a little bit slack on the news recently, and we're also going to just throw some stuff out onto the chat to see if anyone says anything in there as well, because we're in a bit of a weird slow season at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty dead. It almost feels like it's over. We're waiting for E3 now. That's what it feels like.
It's odd because obviously, I mean, it's funny because we are only about 5 weeks away from the Marvel Battlegrounds actually being released. So we've got some figures, we've got a playset. We actually have a playset coming out in about 4 or 5 weeks. We haven't really seen a lot of gameplay footage, really. We haven't seen any proper trailer. We had like weird trailer months ago that didn't really seem to show off a lot, but maybe they're just holding off until a little bit near the time. The only thing that has seemed to be happening, it seems to be a lot of price cuts over there in the US. I mean, even here in the UK, some of the ones that come through, the price of that place that seems to be dropping down to about $20.
Yeah, lots of price cuts, lots of deals. I mean, obviously, when there's a dead month and you don't have anything new to push sales, you end up having to cut sales just to make sales. So,
yeah, it's kind of interesting, I think, to sort of see that. Sort of Disney, all those, because it seems to be going on right across the board. It's like $20 kind of price that sort of is filtered through all of the different retailers. And I'm going to be honest, I think that $20 price tag was probably, I think, what people were expecting from a single character playset. I think around that figure, the $15 for the figure and $10 for the playset piece were what they were expecting. And then when it was coming in at $30, people were that's $20. I think this thing will fly off the shelves. I think at that price, that a playset pack will sell a lot better than before. I think it's a good price.
Yeah,
it's definitely interesting.
No, definitely. I mean, it's like you said. You can throw all the cards out. This is definitely a brand new year, brand new way of doing things. So let's see how this goes.
It's definitely going to be. I think when we look back to this time last year, all we had I think we were just having Jasmine being released this week last year around Valentine's. And after that, we only had Falcon and Loki and a couple of power discs. So in general, we still got a lot more to be excited about this year. It is going to be that question of, is the Marvel Battlegrounds the end of the 3.0 life cycle? If it is, to be honest, I mean, that would be quite nice just to tide us through the springtime before everything kicks off around E3. But there's still this constant thing of there's more to come, which I mean we've talked about it quite a bit over recent weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean we can go back to that one conference call with JB saying that there's more play sets plural before the end of 3.0, which is kind of weird. That they're not bringing it up, they're not mentioning it. So I don't know. It's been kind of quiet. So.
Yeah, but there is one thing why we've been sort of thinking why it might have been a little bit quieter than maybe some people were expecting, was obviously 2 weeks in the last 2 weeks we've had the Lego Avengers game come out. So they've had that game come out. They've had it's a great game. I've been loving playing through the main story bits and pieces. Just in the Battle of Ultron last night, so it's a ton of fun. Of course, then just after that, last week they announced the new Marvel Academy game was released on the app, which I'm going to be honest, I don't like. I don't get it. I don't know if you've tried it. It feels like high school, high Marvel-y. There's not really any gameplay. You just clicking and pointing and clicking and pointing. So there's this kind of thing of whether or not Marvel wanted one game a week to be announced. Because they want to give each one chance to shine, and that's where I'm thinking a lot of this is coming from. You've got all these different games coming out. You don't want to be chucking everything out at once to get all that press in all the game sites and stuff. And also last week they announced the Lego Star Wars Force Awakens game is going to be coming in June. So that again is all part of this it might not be there's a Disney interactive game, but that was still the big story from the Disney group for their video games. So they've got lots of different things going on. You can't have everything all coming out at once.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it does kind of make sense that, you know, maybe let's not be in the limelight of a new announcement. So let's hold off. I mean, if I've looked and researched as much as I can, I don't think there's any new Disney game per se going to be announced or launched or anything next week, or I'm sorry, this week. So maybe we'll hear something. I don't know. It's just been so quiet. And especially after having a leak of all these characters and a Disney character, and yet it's almost 3 weeks and still nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing we got was Battlegrounds. That's it.
But even I think Battlegrounds even felt like a bit of a last ditch kind of. I don't know whether or not it actually had been planned to kind of put out their initial announcement. But then look at Tron. Tron was a perfect example of, we had that leak years ago in the Hall of Heroes showing off these 2 new characters, and I think it was, what was it? It was 3-4 months before we actually had the announcement. I mean, you know, Ant-Man was teased at San Diego Comic-Con. We still haven't officially been confirmed whether or not they were waiting for the Super Bowl trailer, which just broke, which shows Ant-Man is in Civil War, but then it doesn't really have any effect really on Battlegrounds. That doesn't really have anything to do with it.
I mean, there's already toys being advertised with this new Ant-Man look. We've already seen him in a new trailer. We've seen him in a Coca-Cola commercial. For Pete's sake, let us see the figure now. You know, it's ridiculous. Again, the reason why Marvel Gaming is hiding something makes no sense. So.
No, like I said, the only thing I can think of is that the fact that they had all these other 3 other games coming out and announced that they didn't really want to be going up against in terms of news. I mean, generally, sort of the video game stuff tends to sort of start, you know, everyone's looking towards E3 and what whether that will be involved in, which it kind of brings into this thing of like EA have said they're not going to be at E3. Nintendo kind of had to do their direct thing, and they might do something with the NX, and obviously Disney Infinity put the thing outside. But I definitely think Disney will still be at E3 this year.
You know, the more silent there are, the more worried I am. So we'll see.
It's definitely, I think it really depends on what is going on with this life cycle, because this time last year, I think everyone was waiting for that Star Wars announcement. Everyone was thinking May the 4th, Star Wars celebration. Everyone was kind of on that 3.0 sort of hype train, waiting for that kind of announcement. This year feels very different. You know, we're still waiting on that announcements for Ant-Man. It'd be great to see some trailers of them in action in the game. I think that's the thing I'm really kind of excited about, is seeing what Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Vision, and even Baloo, what he looks like in the game, because that would be kind of quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I guess my opinion is basically blank because I have no reference other than the fact that they looked great on the B&H reservation page and great on Amazon, but that's all I have.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an odd one. But it's definitely an interesting time for Disney Infinity. I think trying to work out where it goes is very a lot more tricky. I know JV's been flying out to different locations and stuff. There's no doubt about it that they're working on more stuff. There is more Disney Infinity stuff to be coming, probably for a long time yet. But it's a bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, this silence could technically be maybe they are trying to hide what else is coming, whether it be still in 3.0 or 4.0. I mean, they're keeping everything quiet, and I guess the silence is a little nerve-wracking. So.
It's such a cool thing. I think because over years, in the last 2 versions of the game, like I said, we never got a playset this late into the game. So we're getting something, which I'm kind of quite excited about, because I love the fact that there's some new content coming in. Literally, we have the Zootopia figures coming in about 3-4 weeks. I'm excited to unlock the ultimate unlock, because that's the thing. Those last 2 figures should unlock everything in the game. Those are the 2 game figures we're waiting for. The Marvel side doesn't affect it.
At this point, we don't know.
Well, it's just the fact they did say that it was everything from 2015 was supposed to unlock it. Of course, that didn't happen because when we all got the stuff for 2015 didn't come in. But whether or not Zootopia figures, because they're the last two in my display on the collection that are still blank.
Well, you'll have to let me know if they finally unlock it, because I'll have to wait 15 days for Boba Fett. So.
Oh, that's that thing. Oh, I think because I had him at launch, I always forget the fact that he wasn't everywhere.
It just makes absolutely no sense why he's being held so far back. No sense whatsoever. I don't get it.
It's odd because you'd have thought if it had been out February time, it would have been a nice little boost for people to go. Because I think if he gets released on the same day as Baloo and all the Marvel stuff, he's kind of going to get a bit lost in the shuffle.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Unless they were just thinking, oh, let's just send them all out in one big batch. It's cheaper for the retailers and saves us money.
I mean, maybe it's their idea of saying, oh, and on the 15th, we'll have one brand new Disney, one brand new Star Wars, and a bunch of Marvel. It makes no sense. I mean, we're already having 2 new Zootopia, so, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it would have made, like I said, it would have, even if they sent them out with the Zootopia figures, it would have made a little bit more sense. Because Boba Fett's out here in the UK now. He got released, I think, last week. He's out here now, so you can go get him. So it just seems a bit odd.
Yeah. I mean, I guess until March, I mean, we'll be... Actually, I hope not until March. Hopefully, we'll at least get some answers. I mean, they're going to have to announce the figures sometime if they're going to... It's just so odd that they haven't announced figures that are going to be out technically in almost almost a little bit over a month. They haven't announced these figures publicly. It makes no sense.
Unless because I don't think they're at the Toy Fair this weekend in New York. I don't think they're there. So no, but the only good thing is in some ways, if you think about the fact that we are a month away from the launch of those figures and we still haven't officially known anything, we could be a month away any time from figures if leaks don't get out, because that's obviously the big thing. This new DLC system could change that we might not know stuff so far in advance, and they can just drop figures onto us unless they send them to the retailers first.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's up to them. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, even holding them back this long, just from the public, they're bound to leak either way. So, whatever strategy they want to take, obviously, we already know what's coming. We just don't have an official announcement yet. So,
no. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this, guys. Comment below and get in touch with us. So, I think on what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into this past week. The community got together to do the InfiniFan Awards, which was where we basically celebrated Disney Infinity. A whole host of us were involved in it, announcing all of our all the different categories. You had us, you had DITV, you had Disney Infinity Codes, Disney Holics, and I know there's a few others. There was Rezzed, there was it's gone blank on the other ones. We had iStarly TV, Bad Gamer was in there, Media Meltdown, Mousecast, iHeart Infinity, and Infinity Adventures, and Disney Holics, and the Infinity Cord. Yes, and also even Disney themselves. The Toy Box TV team even announced one of the awards as well, which was really great of them to be involved as well. That was a kind of really cool thing to have them involved with us as well.
Yes, and leading to which they announced the best figure, which ended up being Matt the Radar Technician. No, I mean Kylo Ren. That's what I meant to say. Kylo Ren was the best figure, which is cool. And surprisingly, actually not surprisingly, because I think she's awesome. Ahsoka Tano she was a close second. So
yeah, I was really surprised with Ahsoka because to me the Clone Wars cartoon was sort of something that was around and I was aware of it, and I've watched like the first season, but it was something that kind of, I don't know, but it seems to be, I think it was such a big thing, and I know that's why they put it in the starter pack, because it is so popular. But it was definitely kind of odd for me because it's like to use characters. I barely use her. I've got no real kind of. I don't have that connection with her the same as I do with everybody else. And so it's kind of, I was like, really? That was number 2. That was kind of quite caught me off guard. But Kylo Ren is, I think, one of the best figures for the game. Oh, and he's muted.
He's definitely a really cool figure for sure. Definitely like the way his mold is, his robes, and definitely the lightsaber at the angle. It's just a cool looking figure, completely.
Okay, so I'm gonna just carry on.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, it was cool for Disney to get involved and actually be a part of the awards. So thanks to the Disney Infinity team.
That's cool. I'm going to quickly just run through some of the winners here. So, best Star Wars Power Disc was the Flynn Stormtrooper costume. Doesn't surprise me. That's cool. Best Marvel Power Disc. Well, there was only really 2 Power Discs. There was only really Ultimate Falcon or Captain Marvel. So Ultimate Falcon won. Not a huge surprise on that one. Best Power Disc, King Mickey. I'm like, no, that's not right.
Definitely the best Power Disc for sure.
Yeah, but for those at the event.
No, in general, I think it's an amazing Power Disc. It makes Mickey look amazing, and yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna wait for the figure to come out when when the next Kingdom Hearts game comes out.
Be hopeful. Be very hopeful.
Yeah. I think it will. I still think it will do.
Cheers. Doubt it.
Best Disney Power Disc was that was King Mickey did that one. Best costume was King Mickey as well. Best vehicle or mount was Slave One. Doesn't surprise me there. Best Power Disc was King Mickey. So general theme going there. Now this was our award. This was the best toy box game. This one called Toy Box Takeover. 52% of the vote. There literally was not a lot in it. I was really surprised with this because I thought Speedway was going to take it.
Yeah, that was a surprising ending. It was close the whole way through.
Yeah, I think for me, I always like the racing aspect because as much as that top-down view of Toy Box Takeover is kind of cool. I think the fact you could get all your figures into it and you could and everyone can get involved in one thing. I think it was good, and the fact that we had it at launch and all the rest of it. But I'm going to be honest, I really wish they'd held that game back. Could you imagine if that game had just come out, I don't know, January or February instead of at launch? Because I still think it got lost in the shuffle. And he's muted again.
Sorry. I don't know why. Sometimes it automatically does it because I'm so usually pushing it. But anyways, I think it being launched around January, February would be awesome because it would just save us from all this dead time. I mean, a lot of people will probably get Force Awakens a little bit after launch in January, but for us who get everything when it comes out, we're in dead zone right now. We want new content.
I think it's that thing with Disney is, even at that launch, you had Inside Out, you had Star Wars you had Star Wars: Clone Wars, you also had the in the bundle, you also had the Star Wars one, which came a month later for everybody else, and you had Takeover. So there was that kind of thing of, I know why they put the Toy Box Takeover with the pre-orders. It kind of looked like it bulked the game up a bit for gamers when they got it. But yeah, it would have been nice to kind of have that a little bit later. But then I think from next year or this year onwards, you're going to just start seeing that with a figure slapped together as some kind of playset kind of expansion thing, because now they've changed the way. I still think I think it's gonna change it. Yeah,
I think so too. Unless they decide to release this next mysterious playset back to the original formula, then I'll be like, okay, guys, now you gotta be consistent. Let's not bring up power discs, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
All right, so I'm going to continue on going down for the lists. Best playset was Rise of the Empire. Again, pretty close between all the Star Wars playsets. Doesn't look like Inside Out really kind of came anywhere close to it. It wasn't even in the runners-up zone because there was literally one vote between the other two Star Wars playsets. Now I'm going to be honest. I didn't think Force Awakens was as I thought Twilight of the Republic was a lot better than Force Awakens, but Rise of the Empire makes sense. I think that is easily the best playset of that year.
Yeah, Rise of the Empire, my choice.
Yeah, that's cool. We also had best Star Wars figure was Kylo Ren. Best Marvel figure was Hulkbuster. Again, doesn't surprise me. Best Infinity figure was Sam Flynn. Oh, where the heck did that one come from?
That's random.
That is just random. I mean, Mickey Mouse had the same percentage. It was only like 2 votes apart from that. But Sam Flynn, yeah, again, it's just like a character I've barely used at all in 3.0. I never pick him up to use toy box stuff with him. I don't, it's really odd. It's just kind of quite odd, I think, sometimes when a character gets picked that I'm personally just not into and don't really get at all. And it's just kind of quite funny to see, like, really?
Yeah, no, it's true. I agree with you.
So on that note, we got a new Tron game out next week as well. So maybe Disney have got another game out next week, I think the 19th. So
yeah.
I'll be looking forward to that one. Best male figure was Kylo Ren. Best female figure was Ahsoka Tano. Doesn't surprise me with those two. Best figure design was Hulkbuster. Right. Our most anticipated figure, which I was just getting surprised with, was Ant-Man picked up the most anticipated figure.
I can see that because we've been hinted with him for so long.
Peter Pan was just short as well, just a few votes under that, which I thought Peter Pan was going to get it because I think obviously he's, with the Toy Box event last year being announced, he's been sort of definitely boosted up.
Right.
But that's cool. Other winners we had most desired figure is Indiana Jones, with Darkwing Duck coming in just short of a few votes. So, come on, well, let's get, let's just push, let's put Darkwing Duck to the side. Indiana Jones would be amazing. But I want a playset. I don't want none of this toy box stuff with Indiana Jones. If you're going to be doing Indiana Jones, I want a playset. I want something. I want a game. I want just Tomb Raider. You've got was it the Uncharted games? I want a decent Indiana Jones adventure game playset. I'm putting that out there. You can't give me a toy box version of him.
No, I'm with you on that, but I don't think we'd see him anytime soon until another movie comes out. No,
it just feels like that would be such a wasted opportunity just to do a toy box character, because that would be like,
agreed.
You could do so much of it. It's a perfect game. It's built. You don't have to do a lot of thought over it. It's there, ready to go. I mean, Tomb Raider and Uncharted are so popular, and they are just Indiana Jones clones.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Other ones we've got coming through, we have right, best John Vinacci outfit is the holiday Star Wars sweater. Best content adaptation was the original Star Wars trilogy. Best legacy content was Star Wars Holiday Special. I'm guessing that's Boba Fett. Best voice actor was James Arnold Taylor, who did the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Best developer was Ninja Theory for the Twilight of the Republic, the combat system. I agree with that one. I think they really did change that game of how it felt with battles.
It definitely revolutionized the game.
Totally mixed that one out. Then we had best Disney Infinity artist was Ranald Perez. I probably butchered that as a pronunciation. And then we also had best Disney Infinity custom was Prince Ali, was again by Ronaldo Perez. And then finally, best Infinity figure was the Kylo Ren figure. So right across the board, some kind of mixed up results in terms of all over the place. But that was kind of the cool thing with the awards, was the fact that you kind of had different ways to kind of give different things. It wasn't just best power disc, best figure. They kind of broke it down into different things to kind of. It's kind of quite nice as well. To kind of a good straw poll, I thought, to see what is popular, what is working for people, what people like. Because those character selections and power disc stuff sometimes, like Ahsoka and Sam Flynn, kind of threw me off and gave maybe a little bit more popular than you maybe think it is.
Well, Sam Flynn was definitely a big surprise. I didn't expect them, but again, for all those who were fans of the game, we all wanted him as a figure, including Korra, since 2.0.
Yeah.
So maybe that had to do with some type of the decision, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of surprising, like even what you said about Speedway not winning. I mean, like that was really surprising. So it was cool awards either way. Awesome first year to do them, and let's see what the next year brings up.
Yeah, it's definitely less cool. I think that's pretty much all of the news really. It's like you said, it's been a bit of a quiet zone. We're going to be doing a couple more episodes of the DisKingdom podcast this week. We are going to be talking about the new Lego Star Wars Force Awakens game. We're going to be going into that in a little bit more depth in that episode of the podcast. So you'll find all that over at DisKingdom.com later in the week. But anything else you want to add on that, Abe, before, because it's just going to be a little short little show. It's not a lot.
I was going to say, since it is short, I mean, do you want to talk briefly about a little random topic that
go for it.
Picked up in the middle? This misconception of the amount of figures we have coming.
Oh, right, yes. I'll let you lead on that one.
Let me start it off, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up a screen on my side, so hopefully you'll see it on your end.
This screenshot. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's see if it works out. Let me know if it comes up, okay? Do you see it?
Yes, there we go. So for those on the audio version, you basically got one big hexagonal display back at the E3,
right? Yeah, let me explain real quick.
Yeah, you carry on.
Okay, so this is the hexagonal display that has been. This was first displayed at it was the pre-media event at E3, and then followed by Comic-Con. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is Comic-Con. A tweet that JV put out was, I guess, kind of mistaken because of he said something along the lines of, "Look at this closely," and that's it, basically. To throw people off, and people are like, "Oh, look, there's so many figures like this Disney, this Disney, this Disney," and then he was only referring to the fact that there was no Black Suit Spider-Man on this side. That was his purpose for the tweet. Ever since then, it started this big theory about, we still have 16 Disney Infinity figures, Disney Infinity figures coming. We only have 4 Marvel. We have this many Star Wars. And, starting theories and causing Mighty Jitus to eat hats and all that stuff. And the truth is, this is not the only display. And this is also not only meant to be used for 1 year. So let's bring on this display. Now this display, this was first seen at the actual event E3, and then you got to see it at D23. And it's basically essentially the same thing, except now you have it in the bigger. It's like the border of the power disc. We had the power disc, and then you have that border. This one definitely holds a lot more. But what you can't see, there's also white on this side because it's double-sided.
Yeah.
This exact same display is on the other side of this, the same way that this works.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are saying, like I said, 16 or whatever. So let's do the math. How much is left because all these spaces? That's not accurate, because the truth is this display, because it's double-sided, if you turn it around, fits perfectly in here. It was designed to fit together. So if you really want to look at and do the math, there's a total of 125 possible figures to be displayed on this alone. On this display alone, you also have another 116 figures to display. So at one
and then you
point,
can double that.
Well, I was going to say, at one point in Disney Infinity Cycle, when it gets too big, they'll combine both of these and display them together. And then now you're going to be displaying 241 figures. Now Roger brought up a really great point. It's double-sided. So then what's going to happen, let's say if we even get that far, you know, it's going to go up to 400 and something figures. I mean, these
New
displays,
apartment.
yeah, these displays are only meant to just show how pretty these little figures are. And just for all those who are still confused, but wait, oops, I went the wrong way. I was going to say, but oops, why does it say, yeah, I can do it here. Why does it say Disney here? Why does it say Disney here? What does it say Marvel? That means this has to mean that there's this many Disney left. No, this is in there just to make it look pretty. Imagine if there was white blank spots there.
Yeah.
It would just look hideous. So, anyways, I wanted to go into deep detail because ever since this display first came out in that tweet, it constantly keeps coming up to the point where yada yada.
Yeah,
so what do you think, Roger? I've been talking.
Well, if you bring up the image of just that one there, right? Okay, so let's just look at this realistically from the Marvel side of things. By the time you put in the 4 figures, we're already won over with Black Suit Spider-Man. Literally, you know, we've got 5 figures coming for Marvel, and there's only 4 spots, so that's kind of throws that into the thing. Then we look at the Star Wars side. If you take away the light effects figures, which would have wiped out every single one of those spots completely. So if you put in the 4 Force Awakens figures, that leaves you with 5 spaces.
Right.
Now, yeah, that could theoretically be happening, but I still wonder whether or not they want to hold off things like Hera and a few of the other characters because of doing more stuff. Now the Disney side, there is enough space. There is enough characters left in Disney to fill that 3 times, 4 times over from complete scratch. So we don't really have to worry too much about which spaces they're going to be filling out with that one. But like you said, I think the big thing with this whole display was that this is a long-term piece of equipment being built to be offset over 3-4 years worth of events. These were used at different events. This thing will be continuing to be brought out year after year after year because they've made that initial investment and they can keep churning this thing out each year. They could next year or this year they could wipe that. They could take all those characters out and put in fresh new characters that they've just announced and put in some older ones here and there. And I just think they can't. They're not going to be able to. This display, like you said, it's a long-term event. That thing probably cost thousands of pounds to put together. And
or dollars,
and they're gonna be able to use it because they've got all these different events that they take it to. They took it to Good Morning America. They take it to Comic. I don't think they took it to Comic Con. They take it.
They only took the small one to Comic Con. Yeah.
They can take this, and that unit could be used for years, because they're not just going to keep making new equipment and new stuff for these events year in year out. When something like that is completely generic. You take away that Disney Infinity 3.0 logo at the bottom and replace it with a 4.0 with a bit of a custom overlay, and that's done. That's ready to go for another year, another 2-3 years. So, but I think, like you said, I think the way that the characters are leveled out, it makes it look like that could It's still a possibility to probably do sucker, but
anything's possible at this point.
Of figures, I just think the other one that you showed me is where that whole thing goes out the system because it's too big.
Well, yeah, and here, if I can add something to that too, because how you said the whole thing about Star Wars here. Well, they also display this one separately, and the amount of Star Wars spaces is also different. The same thing with Marvel, the same thing with Disney. And just to give some people perspective, so I know what I'm talking about, when you combine this one, because again, keep this in mind, this is double-sided. So if you flip this around, it fits perfectly here. Now, if you really think about this, they can easily put this bottom one inside the top one and only fill in the middle with just Disney characters. And then they can split the top one with just Star Wars and Marvel. So do you see the possibility there? Is the fact is those little logo plates, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, even at D23, they had some Pixar plates up there. They can easily remove those and move them right over. I mean, I can easily take out all the Star Wars plates and put all Disney here too. So it's, again, this is a display that is meant to be used for years to come. Do not be fooled by the fact that this says Disney. That means it has to be a Disney figure. And stop trying to make Mighty Gidas eat hats. Leave her alone. But
also, and I'm going to throw this out there, is I kind of think that in some ways that when they built that thing, because they must have built it, they must have been building it this time last year because they had it ready for June last year. So they would have been I know they have a plan together for characters, but to be a year out, to be planning, right, we're going to be making announcements on figures by the time E3 next year comes around. I still don't think, Baloo was really one of those and Peter Pan, they just wouldn't have known what characters, what side it would have fallen on.
Right.
That thing with the Marvel, if they want to do that toy box character, they would have never known which side it was going to be on. So it wouldn't have made any, they could never have predicted that. They wouldn't know, they didn't know what people were going to pick in the votes. From
the conversations that we've had with JV and even I briefly spoke to Brit, who helped design the whole expo and this display. The only thing that happened from the conversation was, we're going to make this display. This is what it's going to look like. Give me a number of the amount of figures you think we should all fit in there. And so he basically gave her a number, and that's it. It doesn't necessarily mean that he knew this is exactly the amount of figures we're going to have in here. He just gave her a random number so they can build the plans and actually set up by the dimensions, saying, okay, if these are this many hexes, and I'm going to make it this big, okay, then that means I have enough surface area for X amount of figures. So anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because, again, it just constantly keeps going on and on and on. Hopefully this will help shed some light for some people. But
yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I think it's like, I think when we saw it originally back at E3, I think obviously there was that really excitement about the fact that there were so many empty spots and how much more was going to be announced. And so people are still waiting for that. But I think also there was that big thing of the counter side with Marvel side going, well, where the hell are all the Marvel figures? Because it still doesn't feel enough. I mean, even though we've got all these figures announced, it just does not feel like we've got enough Marvel side this year. Right. But they're still using the 2.0 characters. Like you say, they take all the 1.0 characters out of that display and just fill it up with 4.0. It's like, well, are they really wanting to push Phileas and Agent P next year? They're not the characters they want to be making money for. They're old content. They put them in there because it kind of keep going in. But I'll be sure that those will be like one of the first characters out there. You have all the. I don't think the Disney one even included all the crystals, did it?
No. In fact, I think you bring on a really valid point. Keep in mind, these displays are set up just to show everybody at an expo. They're not planning to put these in stores or anything like that. It's like these are just meant to showcase, this is what we have in our collection. They don't show any variants in there. They don't show any light FX figures, nothing. It's just, this is one of everything that we've had before. And here's the new guys. And like you said, I can easily see them saying, let's just showcase the new ones right in the middle console. Put all the old ones in the big one. You know what I mean? It could be anything like that. So,
but also the blank ones actually have a important part as well, because the blank ones are promoting the brand, separating the brands between the three. So if you took away, even if they put in 20 new Disney characters for next year, they're still going to want to have some empty ones to show off Disney and to show off the three different sides. So they're always going to need to have those blank ones, because it always kind of reminds me of like a football kind of display case when they're talking with all the adverts behind them. It's that kind of got that feel to it where you keep the little, so it doesn't matter where people are standing, they can see what it is.
Oh, and it's funny too, because they make sure that those empty spots represent the public that they're advertising to. Because in absolutely every single expo that we went to, they said Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney. When we went to D23, they also added Pixar. So it's like, depending on where they are, they're going to advertise the brands that they want their fans to see. So it's like, again, it's just like, no, that's not how many figures are left. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't really believe that they've kind of. I don't think they really. If this 3.0 cycle is how it could go, I don't think they've. It doesn't feel like things are set up to go that far in advance for me. They're not going to be thinking when they were building that last year. Well, we still got some figures coming out in November 2016 that we need to put into this display case because it's all going to fit. It probably was as far away from their thought as possible. Just like, how big is it? Can it all fit together? How many windows? And if we got extras left over, it doesn't matter because we can just fill it with these empty ones. Doesn't, but I think, like you say, I think it kind of got took out of context.
Right, I agree. And just to add, one of the Jeremy from our live chat, he wanted to mention that JV said that the arch display wasn't the legitimate one, and that someone who didn't know what they were doing threw it together. I want to know where that came from. That's not what.
But I'm gonna be honest.
I was at E3. I don't remember that conversation.
No, but actually, in some ways, if you said to a builders and said, right, can you build a display for these little display things, make it look like a thing, come up with some designs, because the game designers aren't sitting there looking at how to build this. They'd have had to have got people in to make stuff physically, builders and stuff. And they wouldn't go, well, I want exactly this many spots and this many things. That it was, well, how will that shape? Because you could say, well, I want 15 on this side and 25 on this side, but it doesn't like work out physically.
From my understanding, from the conversation I had with Brit, those two displays are meant to fit together. So they'll display them separately in other events because they don't need to display that many spots at this point. But they're meant to fit together. And even JV has mentioned this part where he said, they asked him, just give me a number, and he gave them a number. So yeah, it's just because JV said a certain thing doesn't necessarily mean that's how it goes. Don't always take that, no offense to JV or anything, but there's many heads who work on this game, and things go differently all the time. So from what I got, which is the expo representative, the one who builds the booth, these two were built to fit together, and that he just gave her a number. So
yeah, and I know myself, when I go to trade shows and stuff, a lot of those display units are built for multiple years because of the investment cost. Because going to events costs a lot of money, no matter what business you're in, and that's always the kind of thing of they do build these things for longevity.
Yeah, but that's pretty much my take on that display. Also, randomly, one more thing. One of our other live chat, Spencer. I guess he's siding with you here. He says, "Hey, Abe, talk about how Kingdom Hearts content is 100% coming." And he says something about the Sora figure. Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it will happen because you've got 2.8 this year for 2.8 HD Final Prologue. No, I got it wrong. Final Chapter Prologue. Yeah, trying to get the full name in. You've got that this year. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not coming out this year. That Sora figure is going to bring in the money. It's a perfect tie-in with Kingdom Hearts. I still think there could be a playset at some point, because I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is still years away. There is no reason there's money to be made by doing it. If your reason that you just gave is the reason why the game will have a Sora figure or whatnot, then that means we're going to have some Lego Avengers in this game. We're going to have some Lego Force Awakens characters, because every video game that Disney puts out, I guess we're going to put it all into Disney Infinity.
I think
makes no sense.
I think Sora has been getting some good results on all these polls and keeps getting brought up. And I just think it's a good cross-promotional thing. I think it's a good way of getting new gamers into Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts, while you've had all these different remixes and different things coming out, you'll have a whole generation of kids growing up playing this game now. And when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes along, they'll have no idea, because Kingdom Hearts 2 was so long ago, that it's a good little nod. The fact we've already got Kingdom Hearts stuff in 3.0 says to me there'll be more to come, because I think this is the Star Wars, in 1.0 and 2.0. I think it's a little hint of what could be coming. Because I think it'd be great to have a Disney playset called Kingdom Hearts where all the characters can go into. And does that not? That would just say that it just fits exactly what Disney are trying to do with this Marvel and Star Wars stuff, being able to jump around. Kingdom Hearts works.
I love Kingdom Hearts. I have the original games. I still have them on my PS2. I don't want to see it play on Disney Infinity, because it's going to play completely differently. But I'm also going to say that if that's what your idea is for a playset, I rather have my idea for the ultimate princess playset, where all the Disney princesses come together and and they'll play all at once.
But I think this whole thing about like it being like a toy box expansion game / playset is exactly what people want. People want this kind of take all your characters in. It's proven to be very popular with Marvel and Star Wars, and I just think that Kingdom Hearts fits that a little bit better, where they can bring in the other characters because it makes sense in the universe, because that already happens in the game. I just think it would be it would make a lot of sense. And I think also Disney maybe wanting to get a little bit more bang for their buck from Kingdom Hearts. You see, Kingdom Hearts is so massively well. It would bring in a new audience into Disney Infinity, but it would also cross-promote the game when the games come out, especially Kingdom Hearts 3, to a new generation of gamers. I think 2.8 Final HD Prologue Remix, whatever, isn't going to do that. That's not going to get new. I don't think that will work the same way as Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be a brand new thing that is really going to kick off. And if it's another year away, what's better next year to give us then a play set and go, well, there is a new Kingdom Hearts stuff coming out.
I guess we'll keep saying, let's see if it ever happens, but I doubt it. If anything, we'll either have some minor, toy box toys or another power disc. That's all I can see it happening.
Yeah, at the very least, there'll be just a Soren, just toy box only character. That'll be like but could you imagine a King Mickey figure in a playset pack? It would bring in the money.
No, Steamboat Willie Mickey. That's the one I want.
Well, anyway, guys, we'd love to know your thoughts on this. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to comment below and with all your thoughts. If you're listening to the iTunes version as well, be sure to give us a review as well. That'd be really helpful. Big thank you to our sponsors again, magicbandcollectors.com and sortapps.com, and thank you to
shout out to Ethan.
And again, just big thank you for joining in with us again this week. If you've got any suggestions for subjects for future shows, get in touch with us, because I think the next couple of weeks it might be a little bit quieter in February. So we'd love to have some ideas from you guys.
Yeah, please suggest stuff, because if Disney doesn't announce anything, I think we're going to see Roger grow hair before we hear something from Disney Infinity. So.
Oh, it might be a while.
Let's hope I'm wrong then.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm big thank you to everyone for joining us again this week, and we shall see you guys in a later episode. Later,
guys. Laters. Thanks to everybody who on the live chat. Bye.
See you. Laters.